Chelsea icon John Terry insists things need to improve fast under boss Graham Potter, with Blues 10th in the Premier League after just one win in their last 8 despite spending £323 million last month. John Terry has said results are clearly not good enough at Chelsea under manager Graham Potter. The former Brighton boss was appointed on a 5-year deal in September to replace the sacked Thomas Tuchel. But Potter's Blues have only won 1 of their last 8 games in all competitions, despite splashing out a whopping £323 million in the January transfer market. And when asked if he got Potter the job, Chelsea youth coach and club icon Terry denied it on his Instagram story. And here are the things he commented on after the shambolic performance against Tottenham. The substitutions. While it was undoubtedly good to see Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang back on the bench again for Sunday's game against Spurs, his inclusion coupled with Potter's decision to only introduce him into the game with 10 minutes left on the clock raises even more questions. Firstly, having only scored 1 goal in the whole of February, why did Potter choose to leave Aubameyang, a player revered for his uncanny ability to find the back of the net, out of the squad until now? With Kai Havertz struggling so badly for form, Potter went so far as to start a 20-year-old David Datro Fofana against Southampton last week rather than give the Gabonese striker a chance to lead the line. At the time, it was mentioned that the statistics by the backroom team indicated that Fofana was a better fit for the team. While that in itself is not an issue, what could possibly have changed over the course of a week so as to prompt Aubameyang's sudden inclusion? Decisions like this are difficult to fathom and perhaps alludes to uncertainty even at a backroom level. Secondly, why, with the team so desperate for a goal against Spurs, did Potter only decide to bring on Aubameyang and Mikhail Mudryk with barely any time left to play? Against Spurs, Chelsea's frontline labored for last parts of the game to create anything of significance. It is thus difficult to understand the manager's decision to withhold reinforcements until that late into the game. These questions lead into a larger point, that is that Potter has generally struggled to influence games during the matches itself. When considering that team generally starts to fade early on into the second half, making effective substitutions become even more crucial in influencing the flow and tempo of the game. Thus far, Potter's substitutions have proven ineffectual and serves as yet another potential area of improvement for the Englishman. So, what is next? There is understandably a lot of anger within Chelsea fanbase right now, but I just want to take a moment here to address the death threats that Potter has been facing from the fans since his appointment by the club. I understand that as fans, we naturally want what is best for the club. I also understand that winning has become so ingrained into the Chelsea DNA under Roman Abramovich that we not only expect success. Yet, the line has to be drawn somewhere, and it is important to recognize that the way in which some fans have chosen to express their anger and disappointment is wholly unacceptable. It is never okay to wish death or serious injury to another person over a game of football or anything actually. There are no ifs and buts to these statements, and no amount of justification or caveat can ever give rise to a scenario where one thinks it is appropriate to act or comment in such a manner. With all that unpleasant business out of the way, I move on now to consider the question that is presumably on every Chelsea fan's mind right now. What is next for Potter? It is important to first recognize that the board are in fact in a rather impossible position right now. On one hand, the form of the team right now certainly justifies consideration as to the possibility of sacking the manager. No matter how one cuts it, 2 wins in 16 games is unacceptable for any club, notwithstanding the fact that we are talking about a club of CFC stature and consistent history of success. On the other, to sack a manager less than 6 months into a supposed 5-year project is embarrassing to say at least. This, alongside the fact that the board saw it fit to replace a Champions League winner in Thomas Tuchel with Potter, means that any conversation of yet another managerial change would understandably be a touchy one. Thank you for watching Chelsea Online.